Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Info Dump. I'm your host, Ashley Pugh, and today in this episode, we're going to have a roundtable discussion with the theme of how I came to discover that I was neurodivergent. And you know what? I am so happy and excited about this because I have invited a group of panelists, some of my neurodivergent family members and a friend, to be on the show with me today. So I would like to introduce to you my husband, Danny Pugh, my niece and nephew, Brooklyn Betts and Alfie Andre Betts, and a friend of mine, Katura Williams. So stick around, guys, because you are going to listen as each one of us talk about our own unique experiences and hear about the ups, the downs, and everything else in between as we have unraveled and gone through this journey of recognizing and embracing our neurodivergence. All right, so the topic for today, roundtable of unique perspective. How did you learn about your neurodivergence? Who wants to go first? Anybody?
You're in a room full
I
of
guess I'll go
introverts.
first.
Oh, wow. You got a volunteer.
Katura.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, girl.
It's like a two-parter. So I was diagnosed when I was like 4 or 3, but I didn't know that. I didn't know I was officially autistic until I was 18 because my mom didn't want me to be labeled, so she just worked around it. But I didn't know officially, and then I didn't accept it until I was probably 23. So I call that a rediscovery.
That would definitely be a rediscovery. You said, okay, so how you say 2 or 3?
Yeah,
You
before I
got
was
the
5.
official,
Yeah,
and then, but you didn't find out about that until you were 18.
yep,
But then that took some processing.
yep.
Gotcha. Understandable. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know, and you don't have to share more than, of course, naturally more than what you care to, but so how did you end up finding out at 18?
So we were on a family trip. It was the
Mhm.
day after graduation because we planned to go to visit family. And we were just talking. And then me and my mom and my sister, we were all just talking about like our weirdness. And then my mom just looks at me and she's, yeah, you have Asperger's. And I was like,
Sorry?
well, I'm in the back seat. And I'm like, what's Asperger? I'm confused. And I look at her and I said, I'm autistic. And she's, yeah. I'm like, oh,
Okay.
cool. When did this happen? And she's, you were like officially diagnosed when you were a child. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, because I bet you're like, I don't remember.
no, I
Getting
don't
tested.
I'm like, I don't remember none of this. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, interesting. And so I didn't do any deep research because I was like, whatever. But it wasn't until I started like connecting the dots where I was
Mhm.
like, okay, my childhood makes so much more sense. My adolescence makes more sense. And adulthood makes even more sense at this. So yeah, it's been a fun discovery because I still keep finding new things.
New thing. Okay, so you're 18, and then you said it still took a few years because, like you said, you had to process everything,
Yeah.
and you were still discovering more things probably about yourself.
Yeah.
And then, did you ever start doing like a deeper dive, or has it just been kind of surface level research?
So it's been pretty much like surface level. And then sometimes I'll go into like hyper focus and I'll be
Yeah.
like, all right, I want to find everything.
Everything.
And then I'm like, but there's so many gaps in my childhood
Mhm.
because I daydreamed a lot. So I don't remember much of nothing. So I'm just like, I'm like, okay, so a lot of things make sense. And then when me and Brooklyn became like really close friends, she was like, yeah, that makes sense. This makes sense. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm not the only one that notices this now.
Yep.
So yeah, in the last few years, I've probably done a lot more deep diving, but it's harder to because I've learned to live a lot more effectively with it.
Mhm.
That I still be like, oh no, I don't have that sensitivity. I don't have that. And then I'll get a sensitivity and I'll be like,
It just called you out.
yeah.
Yep. That's how it goes.
So it's pretty fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking though, how would that be if you're just going about your life, going on vacation, and then randomly my mom's like, oh yeah, by the way. Like, huh?
Yep.
My God.
But thinking back, I'm like, that's really nothing weird because we just have random. I was like, dang, that was a bombshell.
Okay. All right. So that's Katura's story. Anybody else? Anyone want to volunteer to go next? No?
Yeah, I'll go
You wanna go, B?
next.
Okay. Take it. So how did you, Brooklyn, find out or discover that you were neurodivergent?
It was mostly you talking to you about things.
Me? Look, again, am I the drama?
It piggybacks off of your discovery because after you got diagnosed and you were like talking about the things that you do and that you've been through, I'm just like, sounds a lot like me.
Well, yeah.
And then you were just like, yeah, you should probably get diagnosed. Of course, I prolonged it for forever.
Look, tell me you have ADHD without telling me you have ADHD.
I just prolonged it for a long time. And then even when they gave me the papers to fill out,
That's what I'm thinking about. You had that paperwork for how long, Brooke?
I had it for months. And when I went in and returned it to her, she was like, yeah, so what are these for? I was like, yeah, it's for my, I'm supposed to do ADHD thing. She's like, yeah, I see that they gave these to you back in like March and it's like September.
No assessment needed.
And I'm like, yeah. And then when I met with the doctor, it was like a Zoom call or whatever. And she usually, sometimes they'll have multiple sessions with you to be sure. But she was just like, yeah, you have ADHD. There's no question about it. She was like, just watching you right now, it's very obvious. And then she was just like, if you want medication, you can have medication. If you don't, here's other routes. And it's a pretty simple story, but it's not, like Katora said, when I found out about it, like talking to you, there's things that I would think back on. I'm just like, oh, that makes so much more sense. And then the whole adulting part of it, the feelings of I'm really slow at adulting or just struggling really hard at it, when really it's just the fact that my brain is wired differently. So
It's exhausting. Do any of you think that you struggled more as an adult than you did as a kid?
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
And look, I see Danny thinking about it. Andre, I can't tell what's going on. But from us, all the ladies, it seems like it's across the board, like a yes. Yeah. And I know, so I'm speaking from the perspective of a woman with ADHD. They say that a lot of times that happens. Like we will fly up under the radar and doctors won't pick up on it. Our parents, our families won't pick up on it. And it's not really until we get older or we reach adulthood and everything that comes with it, that's when a lot of us start struggling. And not everybody, I think each person's story is going to be different, but many times that's what happened, which is why you see so many women not finding out until they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and even up to like in their 70s, 60s, and 70s even. So it's because everyone piles on. Some find out when they're in college. And then after they get married, after you have kids, those responsibilities start piling on. And you have the limit of what you're able to handle without, I don't want to say without struggling, but let's just say it was really noticeable, became really noticeable or more noticeable.
isn't that like how you started questioning it for yourself is after you started having kids and you saw things and you found out things about them, you're just like,
Yes. If I had not had kids, I don't know if I ever would have even started down this rabbit hole. But it started off with number one, and I was taking him in. And after a while, I would be sitting in there during his sessions talking to his therapist and thinking, huh, this is kind of hitting home. And she would say certain things. Oh, well, if this happened, it's because of this and blah, blah, blah. Really? That sounds really familiar. And so I was curious. So I started doing more research. Even before then, so that was for not just for ADHD, but for autism too. And it's so funny because within the first couple of visits, she was asking me a lot of questions as his parent. And she never said anything about autism, but just from the line of questioning, I could tell where the conversation was headed. So finally, one day I sat down and just said, hey, question, do you think that my son is autistic? And she looked at me and she said, well, yeah. And I said, okay, I can tell by the questions that you were asking me. And I think for her, she was used to having a different reaction because most of the time, whenever people say the A word, like it's this big, scary reaction. But I was like, oh, okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because now I know. I said, and it fits. It makes so much sense now. I'm starting to understand things about him a lot more, if that's the case. Because I was like, oh, I've started doing all this research and blah, 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 blah. So basically, I just went deep down to this rabbit hole. And I start thinking, the more I started learning about it, I was like, okay, some things fit for me and some things different. But then when I stumbled across other women, other neurodivergent women, ADHD women or autistic women, that's when everything really started making a lot of sense. Because for so long, and I think still for so many people, they have that stereotype of what they think an autistic person looks like, acts like, sounds like.
That is probably the biggest thing I hate. Oh, you don't look autistic.
Oh my goodness.
What are you supposed to do? Flap my hands?
I know, right? They don't. Or have you ever gotten this when you mention it? Oh yeah, because I've seen, okay, Rain Man.
Oh my God.
And then other TV shows like The Good Doctor was one too. Oh yeah, I've seen The Good Doctor.
No.
Yeah, see, we don't, Rain, but people have that stereotype and there's still that stigma around it. And that's what they're thinking. And hence Katura, you don't seem autistic.
It's like, what is supposed to look like? And then they start naming like every family member. They're like, well, my cousin, his side, that. And I'm like, okay, that's them.
That's them.
Here's me.
Exactly. Yep. But yeah, Brooke, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. It's funny how it came full circle.
Full circle. Well, listen, so you and I have talked about this before. It should have been a duh moment for me because remember, so my father, her grandfather, was diagnosed in his 60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, but at the time, I didn't do any research on it. And it was just like, really? Okay, well, yeah, I can see that. But after I started looking into it, I was like, oh, yeah. So many things make sense.
Yeah.
And then you start noticing you start seeing the patterns and seeing the traits in your family members. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think another issue, at least for women when it comes to being neurodivergent, is we tend to have a more social pressure from people to act and be a certain way. And we tend to mask our traits more, or just use them in a way that doesn't make it obvious. Sometimes it's obvious, but I feel like women can see it in other women, but it's hard for men to see it in women.
I think most men just see it as, oh, she's quirky. Oh, she has this cute little interest. And you're like, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Danny's face. You thinking?
I want some examples. Give me some examples of some of these traits that you guys are saying that we don't notice.
Because he's like, nope, I can see it.
I'm just curious.
Well, I feel like in our family, it usually has gone it mostly has gone unnoticed because everyone has something. and it was seen as normal because it's like,
Well,
oh yeah,
it
that's
got
just a
unnoticed.
family trait.
We just noticed it. We just never did nothing about it.
Because it's normal.
Well, go with that, Drake. That's actually an interesting line of thought. Go with it. Because that
I'm still wanting to get a list of these traits because
Danny's a little confused on that one.
I want to see what I'm supposed to have been missing.
Well,
so like
what I
go ahead.
to go along with Brooklyn said, we just knew what we knew what we had. We just never pushed it to like getting diagnosed. Oh, it was like, oh, we probably check this later. And like for Brooklyn example, you had your little paper sign and everything for back in March.
Wait, your paper
sign.
Paper sign.
The little
Yes.
paper sign.
What?
But you never signed that in until August.
Oh, I was like, what little paper sign? Did she have a little paper sign just to carry around with or something? What is happening? Oh, okay.
But overall,
Yeah. Well,
like for years, we may think, oh, we probably have this, for example, ADD, ADHD, ever since we were like 12 or something, but never actually got diagnosed till 50 something. If you understand what I'm saying.
That you started noticing some differences around like some people may start noticing differences around the age of 12. That's when it hits, but they didn't really ever do anything about it until later on in life. I think there are a lot of people like that.
And I know I can tell that was like that with our family a little bit, especially in our household. That's what I felt from my point of view.
That's okay. I guess I'm gonna be honest with you. I never thought that I had anything wrong or different. I just figured I was shy.
Same. People are always like, "Oh, you're so shy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not super social," and it's okay.
Exactly.
Thanks. All right, I'm by myself. We're next to people, but not with people.
That's a common. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily anything wrong. I think
Different.
that's different. Yeah. Because it's not. So I did appreciate learning from like the kids therapists or the psychologists that we were taking them to. And there's some others out there that I was directed to read, like to read some of their material or to watch some of their videos, is the fact that it doesn't mean that something is inherently wrong with you. It's a different neurotype. Our brains are just wired differently. It's a difference. Not necessarily wrong. So I can't remember his name. I probably should, but there is a doctor out there who uses this a lot with people. One way that I explained it to my kids is it's like computers. You have a Mac and a PC. 2 different computers, 2 different operating systems. Is one necessarily better than the other? Okay, Danny. Actually, your son did the same thing. It's like, wow. But the point is, it's not like one is wrong. Oh, you're using a Windows. That's wrong. Or you're using a Mac. Oh, those are wrong. The way they operate is just wrong. No, or bad. It's not. They're different. They're just different. And that's how I describe it to the kids. Like, you're just different, just a different operating system. That's all.
Yeah.
We all, and that's another thing too. I think when it comes to neurodivergence, like if a person is autistic or when it comes to ADHD, a lot of times, and myself included, I'm learning to see myself in certain traits and qualities in a different light. But up until recently, there was all this emphasis and the focus was placed on negative traits, or they were worded negatively. This is a negative. This is a deficiency or something like that. But when you think about it, and when you look at the world, especially even in business, okay, a lot of us are extremely creative. You have the out-of-the-box thinkers, and so many companies would never have been started if the person that started the company was not neurodivergent because it took certain qualities that you might find in a large number of the ADHD or autistic community to be able to do the things that they did. So it's like in many instances, it could be a good thing, just like with neurotypical people. Nobody is perfect. So they have things that they're really good at and have things that they're not good at. It's the same with us.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But Dan, you still, was your question never really
No,
answered?
never.
No. That's what I was thinking.
No.
So, okay, I'm going to go back to what Brooklyn said earlier and let me know if this helps any. So what some people have said is that with women or girls, our special interests might look differently or they're more socially acceptable. So those traits are never really considered by other people. Like you might have a girl that's obsessed with horses or hair or makeup. And it's not the stereotypical, they're obsessed with dinosaurs and trains or things like that. And so it's a man may have a wife or girlfriend who's everything's makeup all day long. That's their special interest. That's what they like to do. And it's not considered abnormal.
Or even like Katora, her interest is, and it's not bad, but I feel like if a guy were to have the same interest that Katora has, he would be seen as weird because he's a guy.
What is my interest?
Okay. So she likes to collect stuffed animals.
Okay, yeah.
And she has a bunch. She even has them in her car. Like,
I do.
in the window, you could see a bunch of stuffed animals on her car.
Wait, I've gotten better. But I have a lot of squishmallows. That's number one.
Squished
I
what?
feel like people look at women and they're just like, oh, yeah, that's normal. That's
normal.
But
That's
if that were
cute.
a guy, no, that wouldn't fly. Or just Sims. I find a lot of people love Sims that are
Oh, the
neurodivergent.
game? Sims?
I don't know what it is about Sims. Yeah.
Yeah. But, okay, I here's a theory. I think a lot of us like The Sims because if we can get our lives in order, we can at least get their life. And if it doesn't work, you just kill them off and restart.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
She just said that. She just killed her Sims.
Or you just move the household and you never see them again.
Sims are off in the corner starving to death.
Wow.
Restart.
He sets the house on fire.
We don't like this Sim anymore.
Start all over, guys. New family. Gotta do this better this time.
He said new family.
New family, new life.
We got
We
a
gotta
new
call
family
this
now.
person Shaniqua. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Hey, if you don't like the traces they have, you just change it.
Just change it.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
So I think guys might not have the stuffed animals or the squishmallows, but hear me out.
Gadgets.
And I've talked to, Daddy's getting ready. And my arm slipped. He getting ready for it now. But we have talked about this though. How many guys do you know of? And I'm not going to call anybody else out about their dinosaur collection, but how many grown men?
Oh gosh.
Yep.
Whew.
How many grown men have you seen or know of that like superhero collection at like the action figures?
Legos.
But I think the difference is
Lego.
I think most women will put our special interest in every space that we occupy. Like for me, I'll have a stuffed animal like in every room. Just to be like, okay, now I see you in my car. I even have some on my keychain. Most men will have most of it contained. Some
In a room.
can't touch it. No dust can go on it.
It's 'cause
Don't let a child
it
stare at
retains
it.
value. That's the reason they have it.
For me, I'm
Really?
Yeah,
like,
it's not
let
an
the kids play
obsession.
with it. I will
It's
play
not
with
an
it.
It's an
obsession.
investment.
Some people, some guys maybe, but some others.
I don't collect action figures, by the way.
No,
rest.
he collects photography equipment.
Yeah.
It retains value.
Like you call something wrong, they will not only correct you, but give you the history and the
Yes.
rundown of the
Yes.
specific thing you disrespected.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Special interest.
Nailed it. Andre, it seems like you have something to say over there.
I'm
You
just
think?
She
Yeah.
said,
I'm just still baffled how you attacked me with my little collection earlier.
just right off the bat, then
It
she
wasn't
under
an
she,
attack.
she was just like, they will collect these. See,
No, it was not. It wasn't an attack. And see, nobody. I didn't even mention your name.
But yeah,
attack.
Yeah,
That
you
just
wasn't
was
an
a-
exposed
attack.
yourself there.
No, it was a low ball.
I did not say anything.
But yeah, I feel like I don't know. I know I collect things, but I think my ADHD is more so wanting to have bits of everything. And I tend to have phases, if that makes sense. I'll have phases
Yes.
of extreme things one moment and then it like switches to something else the next. So I think one thing that has probably stuck with me my whole life is Legos. I've always loved Legos. And but other than that, I probably have things. I remember one day I decided I wanted to infuse oils, and now I just have random dry
remember when-
leaves in my house everywhere and
Really?
jars.
I still have a bottle of oil you gave me.
Yeah, I just collect stuff and then I'll do something for a long time and then I'll just drop it and go to the next thing.
Yeah,
So,
I'm guilty of doing that.
how long would that last?
it depended. It just all depended on how stimulating it was for me, what I enjoyed to
You were a
do.
hobby jump. Go from one hobby
Yes.
to another. Yeah.
Yes. I
Hobby
bought
junkie.
a bow and arrow
I remember that.
and
too.
That right there, I
I
thought was like
used-
an
I-
intrusive thought.
it was just something that I wanted to do and I impulsively bought it. I literally I was just like, I want a bow and arrow. And I bought it that day. And then I used it for maybe a month or two and then I haven't used
And
it
that was
since.
it.
You still have it?
I still have it. Still
He's
like
gonna
that with art.
his next line. Bring it with you when you guys come down.
How dare you? But if you're going to
Yeah.
bring
What
it,
you
go
were
ahead and
thinking?
bring it.
See, I knew what he was thinking.
Yeah. It's just one I don't know.
Couture, you
And
said.
our-
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. Yeah, Couture.
Oh, I said I'm like that with art. I got really like heavy into painting and all I could paint was clouds. So I painted clouds everywhere. Stop that. I haven't painted a cloud since. Resin. I got like really into resin and I only made like 2 things. I still have a whole bunch of stuff. I went like on a huge Amazon spree. I bought all the stuff for it. And I did one project and I was like, I'm done.
That's what happens. That's
Oh,
like
cross
you
stitch.
know.
I have so many things for cross stitch and embroidery. And then I guess Friday, I went to Barnes and Noble and they had this cute little felt stuffed animal thing for $5. And I was like, I want to try felt. I haven't opened it yet though, but it's up there.
And you just bought this?
Yeah, I just bought it Friday. But then I wanted to play Sims instead because I bought a pack. So I've been playing Sims every day until a new pack comes
Then
out
she
in December.
abandoned them.
Yeah,
You said, did she abandon them?
because with my new laptop, I had to start a new save, and so I have a whole new family of Sims. And then I didn't like the way the one family was turning out, so
Goodbye.
I moved them out of their house, and I haven't seen them. So
No.
And so then I started a new family. And with this new pack, we got goats. So I got baby goats everywhere.
No.
And that's the only reason why this family hasn't gone yet. Because the baby goats.
Because the baby goats.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else hobby jump?
If I
Oh, I
don't
do.
realize
Yeah,
it,
you do.
nearly don't
Yeah,
realize
me
it.
either.
Mm.
I did try to play the guitar at one point. It was hard.
I remember that. You had a
Mhm.
guitar for years.
have
and
it.
you
Still
never
have the
He
guitar?
still
in
has
there.
it.
You still have it?
Yeah.
He still has
Nice.
it.
Wasn't it broken?
No,
No.
that was Ashley's.
That was the one. Actually, it's right here. I still have it because it was Papa's. It was Daddy's.
Oh,
It was your
really?
Papa's guitar. Yeah. I
Like the
still have it. It's
strings
right
were
here.
not
And I actually
attached to the
went and got
thing.
strings. Yeah, and I
I
went to
remember that.
the music shop and I got new strings for it too.
Whose idea was it to start having a bird feeder?
Talk about the hummingbird.
Yeah.
Mine.
Okay. And then the planting,
The
like your
garden.
pineapples, your
Oh,
garden.
You have a
pineapple was
pineapple?
mine too. I did.
He used
I
to.
grew a
Several.
Pineapple.
couple of actual pineapples.
It's like a
Yeah, he
while
had
to
about.
grow.
Yeah, they did.
I feel like Danny's interests are things of that such because all of my life growing up, like when we would come to visit in the summer, he always had new plants he was gardening. But it wasn't like
Or the
normal
plants
things like
have overgrown a little
tomatoes
bit.
and
Last time we saw
Yeah.
it.
he planted stuff like pineapples. And there's another thing that
Was
he
it
planted
water?
one time.
I thought it was
Pomegranates.
watermelon.
Yeah.
Oh, I still have the
Pomegranates?
pomegranates.
He has
You mean-
2 pomegranate plants. But he had several pineapple plants.
Does it
The
actually
entire-
produce fruit?
Yes. We've eaten some.
The pineapple or the pomegranate?
Both.
The pomegranate hadn't produced anything yet. I'm worried that they're not going to make it this coming year, fall, winter. But I hadn't put them in the ground because I'm worried what the roots will do to the septic tank because that's what I get to worry about.
The septic tank?
Plant them on another side of the yard.
Okay.
No, that's not how it works. What is it?
Roots.
Confused.
Is
roots
this
grow
run
out.
out better in a
Roots
certain
grow out.
area?
I mean, we have a whole big old tree in the backyard.
Yeah, I'm worried about those too.
And then the other 2 plum trees
Yeah,
that
I'm
are
worried
right over
about
there.
those too.
You got plum trees?
2 of them.
That's cool.
Did you plant those too?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, see,
And he-
the things that he's planted, like usually when I see people's gardens, it's like tomatoes, maybe cucumbers.
We've done tomatoes, and I don't like cucumbers.
I like cucumbers.
But he plants fruit. Have you ever
Good.
planted a vegetable? What kind?
He plants them.
Green beans,
Tomato.
greens.
But the question is, do you
Tomatoes.
eat them?
We ate the tomatoes. We ate the green beans too, and the greens. So yes,
Yeah, whatever will grow.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah. The pineapples, though, that was a thing.
It
Yeah.
was a thing. It
That
was
was
a
a
thing for a
thing.
long
Pineapples that
time.
actually grew were really well. The first one that grew was really good. It was really good. It was so.
It was good. But see, Couture, he had so many. The entire back
I only
patio
had
was
7.
covered in.
They're just big.
Wasn't there some in your dining room?
I
Yes.
remember that.
Yeah.
That was
I
what
remember
I
that.
remember
I was keeping
that.
them
He had-
from
he
dying
had-
in the winter. They're like tropical plants.
Yeah, and they got to be so big,
They
and
were
the
big.
leaves were like that long.
I
And they were
remember-
sticking
yeah.
us when we walked by.
He had pineapple trees everywhere.
That's cool. That's pretty cool.
Well, pineapple plants.
Yes, and I
I
enjoy
kill
my
most of my
pineapple
plants, so
You look. I actually watch your stuff on social media, like your potted, your container gardens and everything.
oh yeah, it actually
You
did pretty
do
good this
really
year.
well.
But like houseplants, no, I will kill it. The only houseplants I've been able to keep alive is called like a mirror moss. It's like a Japanese little moss ball. It don't grow. It just stays in water, and I just use the water to fish.
You have
But
over your head.
oh my gosh, that garden.
What'd you
So I
say,
haven't
Dee?
cleared it for the winter. Yes.
There's a plant hanging over your head right now.
These are all. This is my mom's. It's a
Oh.
poplars. We have like
That's what I have in
Hey,
here.
dozens
Listen,
of them.
water
To
it.
water. What'd you
I-
say?
Huh?
Nothing.
Oh, it is.
Hey,
Yeah, I've
I
killed
do.
every pothos that has gone into my bedroom because I forget about it. I'll look at it and be like, I need to water it.
Does
And then I'll
anyone
go
else?
looking.
Does
Hmm.
anyone else relate to the saying "out of sight, out of
All day
mind"?
long.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All day long.
Yeah.
I don't have
That's
to
why my
look at
closet
it
door
for a
stays
couple
open.
hours and I'll forget it. Forget all about it.
No longer exist.
Does anyone do that with people? Not on purpose.
Oh yeah.
And let me preface by saying it's not that you don't care about the person, like the friend or whoever it is, but if you are not around them frequently, you're not the one that's
that
always
reminds
keeping in
me,
touch and
I-
keeping in contact. I'll
Meaning
put
to
you there.
text one
Yeah.
of my friends for 6 months last year, but I cannot remember to
Yeah.
text.
Wow.
Still need to
Yeah.
text them too.
So I actually discovered that you can actually send text with the what's the thing?
Thanks,
You're
Danny.
welcome.
But it's true because that's why I call myself a low maintenance friend. Because I'm like, we can go a long time without talking. I have no hard feelings. And I'm like, you have a life. I have a life. I still love you. Love is still there. But you always have at least few friends that are like, why haven't you texted me? And I'm like, because I don't see you. You're gone.
So
Mhm.
sorry. Do
My
love
bad.
you.
I didn't
Yeah.
mean
Yeah.
to. But when you get together,
Nothing's changed.
nothing's changed. Everything's still the same. And you get a little episode to catch up and everything. But yeah, honestly, out of mind is definitely real because I have some siblings like that. Because if I don't physically see them, we ain't gonna talk. But we're all like, still love you. Yup.
Yeah.
What were you saying, D?
I don't know.
Oh,
No, it's okay.
you said, oh, you were talking about, yeah, so this causes me so much anxiety sometimes. I'm afraid that I'm going to forget because I forget all the time. I forget to text people back. I forget to just do whatever. So what I realized was, I know on the iPhone, they have the
The
automation app.
reminders.
You can create an
The reminder.
automation, huh? No, you can create an automation. It's the automation app. And so like the other day, I needed to send a text out, but I was afraid that I was going to forget after a couple of hours or go back to sleep because it was early in the morning. I need to text somebody in a message to let them know that I wasn't going to be going somewhere and pick something up so that they could go and get it. But this is like 5:30 in the morning and I didn't want to send it to them then. So I was like, oh, what can I do? Can I have this message go out automatically? And I found out, yes, you can. So I used the automation app on my iPhone and I created a text
I'm gonna need
to
to
go
know
out at like
that.
7:00. And then it worked beautifully. But the only problem was the next day, since I didn't turn the automation off, I sent the same text message again. I had to apologize. I was like, I'm so sorry. And then I had to tell them what I had done, that I had set up this text to go out automatically.
Messed up. She had pulled it off. And then he came
Oh,
back and got her.
always something.
Yeah. But but the thing is, I do that with things, appointments, but I hate that I do that with people. And it's not that I don't care about people because I might think about the person and I will tell myself, I need to text them or I need to call them. But in the moment, I can't call them. Sometimes I do my best thinking if I'm in the shower or if I'm driving or if it's late at night when everything's quiet, I'm thinking, I will think about a person, say, I need to call them. I need to text them. Well, now I know, I guess I can set up a text. And maybe that might have to be my system. So hopefully if anybody watches this and you get a text from me and it's one that I automated, it's not because, oh, I don't really care about you, I'm setting up this automation. It's because I care about you enough that I'm tired of forgetting to contact you when I need to. So this is it's like a reminder for me because I can have that one message to go out. If it's midnight and I think about you, hey, I can set that text message up to go out at, 10 o'clock the next morning. And then at least that will go out and I can continue the conversation from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully no one will get offended about that, me setting up an automation. But that just might have to be my system if I'm going to start keeping in contact with people a little better.
How many alarms do you have on your phone?
Like that's
Danny Pugh, does it matter?
Yeah, we're talking about your system.
Look, which phone are we talking about?
How many?
Okay, this phone? I just have a few.
Yeah.
Scroll.
you have phones.
Scroll.
No, wait. Actually, I have more.
Scroll.
That's
How many
okay.
phones
So
do
he's
you
talking about,
have?
I have one for work and one for,
Girl.
Yeah.
and I wasn't even at the bottom when I started.
Yeah, she got like
I don't
100.
go back and delete my alarms all the time when I set them.
Dang.
Actually, you were the one who helped me because I set reminders on my phone, but the noise isn't as alarming as an alarm.
Yep.
So I started using an alarm for reminders. And then for the stuff that's not really important, it's just like extra, I just set reminders, but I
Set
don't use an
reminders.
alarm for them. But
I
yeah.
need my alarms. Otherwise, I probably will not remember. And it's not because it's not important.
Do you guys have, talking about systems, do you guys have a system when it comes to leaving things in the same place every single day and it helps you to remember it, like creating a routine for yourself, but in a way that works for your brain? For example, I leave my medicine in the same spot every day. I leave my keys in the same spot every day, my purse, my phone. Everything that is important for me to have when I leave my house, I leave it in the same spot every day, and whenever it's moved, or if I forget and I place it somewhere else completely different, I go into a panic mode because it's gonna take me forever to find it
Find it.
because I'm like, "It's not where I usually keep it," or yeah.
So now, do you view that as an issue for neurodivergence or just planning?
Danny?
I'm just asking. I call that planning. Go ahead.
So one thing is that's common with neurodivergent people is we have problems with executive function, and planning or different types of planning is a part of that. So that's why it's so important for us to have systems in place.
Mhm.
So other neurotypical people might need to do that too, but executive dysfunction is like a real issue for a lot of neurodivergent people. So, which is why it's so important for us to have those systems in place like that.
Yeah, I'm not by any means trying to knock that because I do that. Right now, I could tell you exactly where my badge for work is, where my bag that I take to work. I know where my keys are. I know where all the change that I put in my pocket. I know where all that stuff is
Keep us
because
in the same
it's in the
spot
same spot every
every
time.
single
So
time.
here's my thing. One of the questions is, do you have anxiety because of ADHD? And I'm like, how would I know if I have
Was that one of the
anxiety?
questions for real?
How would I know if I have anxiety due to ADHD if I always have anxiety? So,
That
like,
doesn't make any
how do
sense.
you answer this question?
Was
Is
that a
this
real question?
yes, that's the question.
No, I mean, was that like a real question that you had?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's
I'm like,
weird.
is this and I wasn't trying to be whatever condescending or whatever difficult, which you broke. It was a real question. So I'm just like, how do you how do you understand if something you've been doing your entire life is something that is a function or whatever of a symptom of ADHD?
Trait.
Trait. Yeah,
Mhm.
trait. It's a trait of ADHD. How would you know? Until somebody goes, that's a trait. And then you go, that's not a trait. I've been doing this my whole life. Leave me alone.
That is
A,
true.
a
I
lot
think
of
that's
people
why
don't
it's
know.
harder as adults, especially if you do get a diagnosis later, or maybe you accept it later. You're like, "Man, I've been like this my entire life. I don't know if it's because of or a
Mhm.
trait of," and you're like, "This is just how I'll be working."
Yeah.
It works for me. And this is how I don't lose my mind.
A lot of those questions, those questionnaires and things, I don't like. They drive me up the wall.
They're stupid.
They don't make sense because I'm like, number one, I don't have enough information because I can't even give you an example. It would take me of some of those questions, but it's like, I will still have more questions after looking at the question. And I even remember asking like more questions about some of the questions that I had.
Mm.
And the responses still didn't make sense. It's like I have to pick any, but it depends. This isn't enough information. This isn't enough context. It depends on this and this. So you just do the best you can. But I don't really like a lot of those questions. I don't know who made them up
Yeah.
or decided that they were great. And I've been hearing that a lot in the neurodivergent community. They're like, yeah, no. You
Because
can
I think
have
like the ones I
this
really
up.
don't like are when they're like, "Do you agree?" Neutral, or "Don't you agree?" or something like that. And if it comes to like them asking like how you're feeling, okay, what if in that moment I don't feel that way?
Exactly. See, it depends. What's happening? What's
Like,
going on?
what's if you ask me on this next day, maybe I will.
Yeah.
Like 40 minutes, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. So a lot of them are so stupid. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I need examples. I need a scenario instead of just point blank asking
Yeah.
a question.
And then
And I'm
even
like, no.
and then even then you're like,
All right.
what's the background? Well,
Yes.
this for you?
That's what I'm saying. The context. Yeah, they don't give you enough.
So it's
I think I might have some sort of explanation, at least for my personal experience, because that is a good question. How would you know? Because, like I said, before talking to Ashley, I didn't question anything about myself because it's something that I've had my whole life and I had my own thing going, but I wasn't functioning to the best of my ability in life. Like when it came to my job, when it came to relationships and just like other everyday life things, I didn't realize that I was supposed to be functioning better. And I wouldn't say that it caused anxiety. I think for me, it more so was frustrating. There was a lot of frustration that I had that my ADHD caused. Like having to do appointments, having to have paperwork done. I hate paperwork. Hate it. I hate anything that has to do with societal structure system that they've created that I cannot go along with perfectly because of my brain.
And she's
And
been like this since she was a kid, little.
yeah,
Do you prefer doing
Little.
things like digitally or having the actual paper?
I don't like doing it at all. I literally don't
Let me
like
ask you
doing
this
it at
before I
all.
forget. Like when you like if there's like A, B, C, D questions, do you skip B sometimes to go to the C question, then go back to B and do the D question? Because I do that
No,
90% of the time.
Wait,
with just
Yeah.
questionnaires or
The-
I don't skip questions. It's just sometimes, a lot of times, I just think stuff is stupid. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I could be doing something that I actually enjoy and forget these people, forget this stuff. Like, I just don't like it.
I don't know. If I skip a question, I ain't going back.
wow.
I just
Like that's the
don't
few seconds of my
care.
life
And I
I can't
remember,
do.
I think that's probably, even though I was trying to get some kind of answer when I took the ADHD papers and everything like that, a lot of that stuff, I'm just like, why am I answering this? And
okay. So is that what we're talking about specifically, like on the paperwork?
well,
just in
just paperwork
general?
in general. I don't know. I'm just like, it's such a waste of time. Why can't we just talk about this in person and get over it? I don't know. I get
I have wondered that. Why can't we just talk about this? Because
But it-
I'm tired of writing.
because they want like proof. They want documents. They want,
You can record me. Can we just talk?
yeah, record me talking.
Because this is taking too much time.
It's just, I just don't. And I think, I don't want to say ADHD causes rebellious personalities, but I just feel like I have to figure out how to do things my own way. Otherwise, things aren't going to be productive for
Sounds
me.
like efficient.
Yeah. So I have to figure out how to do things in my own way. Because I'm like, if I do it other people's way, I'm like, I'm not going to finish it at all.
Mhm.
Like, even when it comes to tedious things like doing laundry, maybe I have to come up with a scenario in my head. I'm back in 1837 and I'm a maid.
My Lord,
Like that
I
video I
like
sent you?
laundry. Laundry is great. I do.
You do? Or are you
For me
sarcastic?
personally, I
Can you
truly
come
love doing
over
laundry.
here, please?
Even though I
Andre,
don't
I need you to
like do
come
it every
here.
week. Well, I do. I got some.
Look
I
at
do.
between. I almost said between Danny's face. It's like
The reason why I said that because I got so many clothes, so it's hard for me to
I
do
get
it
you.
every week.
Yeah.
I just put it off.
I hate it. I detest. I can wash and dry. It's the folding and the putting away.
I have that for
Lose
myself,
my
though.
mind. You please help me out.
No.
Give me some tips.
I don't like to wash it and dry because I'll forget it in the washer.
Oh yeah.
You don't have
I
to
do
wash
too.
it again and then again because I forgot it. But for like the folding and putting away, I've got the folding part down because if I will set a timer on my watch and be like Siri, set time for 5 minutes. And then I will fold each article of clothing as I take it out of the dryer and then put it into the hamper. Well, the basket or whatever. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be put away because Brooklyn knows. This week, I needed to clean my room and put away laundry. Baskets of clean laundry. Didn't put it away. Don't ask me how long they've been in that basket because I don't know. But when I got the motivation to actually put it away, it was already folded. And I was like, dang, I already folded this stuff. So I just put it where it belonged. It got done eventually. But the folding, as soon as it's done drying, helps. And then I also don't put it in my room if it's already folded and clean because then it's going to get absorbed with a mess and I don't want to deal with it.
See, I always said I wish we had a bigger our laundry room is really small.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no room for a table or anything like that in there.
Oh, no, we ain't got a table either. Like,
and it's just
washer and dryer. And then you turn around and you look at the refrigerator. There is no room.
So how do you do it? Because I wouldn't even have any place to. I'm like, how do you do?
So I'll sit on the floor and put the basket right in front of me. I'll fold the stuff on my lap and then throw it into the basket. So then, because I have nowhere else to put it. So I'll just fold it and then put it into the basket. Or I'll fold it on top of the washing machine and then put it into the basket. Because everything, the washing dryer downstairs and then my room's upstairs. So I'm like, I don't want to have to just throw it into the basket and then carry it upstairs and then fold it because it's not going to get.
Yeah. Normally, our folding won't get done until Danny initiates the folding. It's true. I can wash all day long, wash and dry all day long. I might forget that they're in the washer. I might even forget that they're in the dryer, but they'll be clean eventually. But when they come out, that's it. It's just, I will shut down. I'm like all the way down. When seeing the clean laundry gives me so much anxiety. It's ridiculous. And honestly, that was one thing where I was like, this cannot be normal. Because I see and hear other people that have zero problem. And so why is it laundry? So to me, and I would hear other people have conversations. And if I said something like, oh, no, there are some days where it is too much for me and I might not do the dishes. The dishes will stay in the sink until the next day because I can't I don't have the mental capacity and energy to get that done. And I remember one time having this conversation and other people were like, yeah, no, I can't ever do that. No. Like how do they do it? And I felt like something was wrong with me. I was like, can they just say, oh, I need to do this or running errands and it's not a problem?
That's also
like, oh, well, I need to do this and this and you can just do it? Huh?
Doing errands, that's fun. Because I'm not only accomplishing what I'm doing, but I'm also exploring too around town.
Do you have a certain route that you take in the store that like no matter what is on your list, you still have to do that route?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Like I could need like eggs, but I'll go to the pharmacy section because I think I might need something. And then I'll go to the clearance section. And then I'll be like, oh, what are their clothes look like this time? And I'll go there and then I'll start my list.
There you go.
But I got to go through like every aisle just to see like what's going on.
But Ashley, don't you also have OCD?
Yeah.
So I think another thing too is like people have a misconception of what OCD looks like. And they would think, oh, if you have OCD, then when it comes to dishes, you would get that done no time. But your OCD doesn't work that way.
It's different.
So how does that clash with your ADHD?
I'm glad you said that. So my brain is they work against each other. Because I'll be honest with you, I think I will thrive in organization and tidiness. I prefer it. Clutter and disorganization drives me insane, but I can't maintain it. And so like the ADHD in me, I will have doom piles and doom boxes all throughout the house. And then I get on my own nerves because I'm like, ah. And we have 4 ADHD people in this house, and each person has their own doom piles or whatever. And I'm like, I will go insane. And then I get upset with myself because the other part of my brain is like, no, I crave it and I want it. And sometimes when I get that burst of energy, I will go have these fits where I'm just like trying to organize everything. I might try to organize a whole house. And then I have messed myself up because then we have like the last few months, we had I had Danny helping me pull stuff out of that. You remember that whole big cubby thing that I had for the kids?
Yeah.
We were pulling stuff. We had nowhere for all that stuff to go. But I was like, it needs to go. It has to be gone. It's gone. And I had him take it out to the street. Someone came, picked it up, blah, blah, blah. And then come back inside and it's a whole big old mess. What are we going to do now? But it forces me to have to organize things. It took what? How long? About 2 months or so?
At least, yeah.
But they constantly fight each other. And then the OCD with my thoughts. So for me, a big part of it is the intrusive thoughts. If I'm going to be completely honest and transparent. And so, yeah.
Those
Yeah.
intrusive thoughts.
Girl. You play on a loop.
I think one of the things that I learned for myself when it comes to staying organized is simplicity is the key for me.
Yep.
Like I remember last year I went through a whole decluttering mission where I got rid of so much stuff, and it forces me to stay organized because the less stuff I have to take care of, the better it is.
The better.
So I just got rid of so much stuff, and I still feel like there's other things that I could be getting rid of, but it helps me to have a simple, open that way, and then I can feel it in my mind. Like I can feel the clarity coming when it's like that, and it feels less chaotic. So
It's really nice.
yeah.
That's what we were doing. We were trying to declutter.
Mm-hmm.
But before we go though, I realized the guys, neither one of you
Shared.
Shared what?
how you learned about your neurodivergence.
Oh, you?
I thought we did.
You? I learned like every other married man. They're white. No, it was just you started looking into what's going on with the kids, and then you basically just kept at me until I went and asked somebody about it. And I still don't know where the papers are. You probably know.
Did it bring any sort of clarity though to you? You can be honest. If it didn't, fine. But did it though?
I still have that whole argument of how do you know when it's a condition of ADHD or if it's a normal thing. Again, I've been living with my whole life. If it is an issue or whatever, I don't know how to address it politically correct.
It's okay.
I mean, it's to understand that, yeah, I do have anxiety or whatever. That's good because now I know how to try to think about it and function around it. But other than that, I don't. It's this not normal? Is this normal? It's still, to me, it's that whole, is this a function of is this anxiety because of your ADHD? I don't know.
Well, even taking away that aspect of it, that question, just in general, was it eye-opening or has it been helpful knowing, okay, yes, my brain functions a little differently? And here's some things that I can do, or this explains so much about my life. I have a better understanding. Was there any clarity, or now I can also understand my kids a little, anything like that? It
helps me to understand my kids better. For me, it helps me to realize some of the reasons why I haven't gotten a lot of this stuff done in this house.
Yeah.
But, well, you ain't have to just jump on it like that.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. It was more, like the understanding, the clarity, so that you don't, that you can not be as hard on yourself.
I know. I don't think that's ever going to go away. That's how I am. So if I just go, it's okay. No, I won't ever get it done. I have
Well,
to.
not just go, it's okay, but
I see what you're
all
saying.
right, I'm not
I see what you're saying, but
saying, okay.
it's not gonna happen. I'm always gonna do that to me, I guess. I'm sorry.
Well, don't apologize. It's okay. Did anybody else feel different? Have you always known, this is for everybody, that you were different than most of the other kids? Well, I'll say most of the other kids because for me, it started when I was younger. I knew that I was different. I did not fit in.
Oh, I know
I
I
would
didn't
always
fit
have to
in.
find my people. I would have to find my people. Huh? What'd you say, Couture?
Same way. I
Yeah.
always was like, they're not my friends. It's just because I'm weird.
I didn't really pay attention to how different I was until people would point it out to me. Like when kids would say what I did was weird, I would be like, "You're weird."
Yeah.
Like and then another thing too, I've never had an issue with it. If people think I'm weird or people think I'm different, I'm like, "Well, that's your problem because I don't care what you think."
So for me, I've always been, like I said, and Couture, I think she agreed with me, is that I just don't look for many deep relationships with people. I have
Okay.
very few people that I have more than a passing relationship with. It's
It's me.
and when I form a relationship, it's a very tight bond. I'll be defensive, and I can be, yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that. So
What? No.
I'm protective of my people.
You
That
are.
I will fight anyone. Come to my friend. I will fight.
You ain't got to come to my front door or nothing, but yeah, the very few relationships that I have that are more than, hey, what's up? All right, see ya. More than that is I'm well, anyway, I'll leave that alone. But yeah, I have a tight knit family. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yep. And Dre, how about you? Did you ever feel different as a kid? Or did you know that you were different?
I knew. I just didn't care about it.
I
I just didn't
I was about
care.
to say, you didn't care.
I can't. I obviously I don't remember what age, but I just know that
Mhm.
I was just just doing me, well, on the most part. So I was like, I think I remember telling myself once, I'll figure out why I'm different from anyone else, and still haven't found out yet. Procrastinating on that. Well, I figured it out. I either have ADD, ADHD, but I haven't really confirmed on that yet. So I'm like putting that on a pin. So yeah,
Stick a pin in it.
once I get the time
Yeah.
to do that, like, okay, I'll do a little bit more digging around. Yeah.
In your own time. Yep. Yeah, no, I think I've always known because I've never really quite fit in with most of the people, especially other women, other females, whether I was when I was a kid or even now as an adult. I don't feel it. Our interests are different. I don't know. It's a feeling. I find the people that I fit in with. And I'm realizing now not all, but most of the time it's like other neurodivergent people. I still remember being a kid and telling my mom I didn't want to have any more parties
Mhm.
with other girls. I was like, I can't do this. It gave me so much anxiety. I did not fit in with half of them. And I found like the dynamic, I don't want to say traditional dynamic. I don't know. I didn't like it. And we didn't have a lot of the same interests, or I don't know. I've always just been different. And yeah, I was like that weird, quirky girl. And I would find other weird, quirky girls to hang out with, or not just girls, but other kids. And now adults, I have my people. But I think the thing for me is I am a recovering people pleaser. And so it did matter to me I did care about what people thought. if I'm going to be honest. I really did.
I'm helping her with that
He has been helping me with that. And
because I'm on the other end of the spectrum.
Yes, totally.
Sounds like
I'm
me and
learning
Elijah.
not to care as much, about what other people think, and just like, hey, if that's it, whatever.
Yeah, that sounds like me and Elijah. I'm the one who does not care about what people think, and he cares about what people think.
Yeah,
It's
it's okay, Elijah. Look,
it's a good thing.
we're gonna work through
You
it.
balance each
Of
other.
course, it
Yeah.
all depends what mood I am.
Andre,
Andre, you've
that's
always been like
you.
that.
You've always been like that. You don't care about people. I mean, you care about people, but you don't care what people think.
People think.
Oh,
It's like Andre and
Is that
Danny are not
real?
gonna be losing any sleep over it.
Mhm.
So I also think that's okay.
okay.
I'm like, you
That's
good?
how I am. I'm like,
You good?
whatever.
Okay.
Get to it. See,
Okay.
I'm learning.
be
I'm
over here.
getting there.
I'll talk to you later.
You do you, Bobo. You do you.
All right. So before we actually, we've been doing this for over an hour. I might have to split this one up. But before we head out, any other comments before we end the show?
We gotta do this on a regular basis.
No.
Are we gotta do this on
Huh?
a regular basis?
Oh, if you want to, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah. This was fun.
This is nerve-wracking. I don't know about that.
Really? Are we stressing you
I
out?
am stressed all the way out.
Really?
Yes, I am
I'm
my least
sorry.
favorite subject.
We can always pick different subjects.
Any time of the
Always.
day.
Yeah, find something.
No, we can always talk about photography,
You want to talk about photography? We
dinosaurs.
could do that. We could talk about photography.
He will talk
all
about
day
photography
long.
all day long.
Names.
He will do that. Yeah.
But you ain't
If
that's,
we have to go to a
Probably like-
gathering or something, if he takes his camera, he's okay.
that's my crutch.
So my
It
one
is.
question is, okay, so I'm autistic. Brooke, you have ADHD. Annie,
I don't know what I am. Ask Ashley.
You for
I'm-
real?
I
You
don't
want me to
know.
go there for
I don't
real?
know, and,
You don't
and
care?
I don't do label.
So
we're just on the spectrum.
yeah. So if you haven't figured it out by now, both of our kids are autistic and have ADHD, and I think Danny and I both are as well.
Gotcha.
When I went for my assessment, see, I don't know what happened when you went for your assessment. They did not give him an autism assessment. He had a different person. We went to the same place, but he had a different person. That lady didn't do the autism assessment because I did go through his paperwork. For me, because I requested both of them. But the woman, and maybe this can be a topic for us ladies one day, we can do one. I went there and I was expecting it because I'd already done my research. She told me, and she said, I'm just going to be honest with you. I was 39 at the time. She's like, you're older and you're Black, which means you've probably been masking your whole life. And it's going to be extremely difficult for me to give you an accurate autism diagnosis, according to the DSM-5.
Yeah.
And when I got my results back, that was basically it. So I got an ADHD diagnosis, OCD, and generalized anxiety. And then she said, although I have certain autistic traits, she could not give me an autism diagnosis per the DSM. And she said, one day maybe things will change because now they are starting to learn how culture and gender play a big role. Because a lot of the studies that have been done and a lot of, what do you call it? The prerequisites, I don't know, whatever you call it, to get that diagnosis are based on male traits. And generally it's been like white males.
Yeah.
And they're just now realizing what it looks like in women of color. And, there's so many other factors. So I just kind of roll with that. I was like, oh, okay. So, but I have a feeling that Danny and I both are probably on the spectrum as well, the autism spectrum. I'm just going to say that.
And then Dre, we just
I
know.
got some form of
We just know.
ADHD,
We
something
just know.
like that. I just
Yeah. I just wanted to be like, wait, where is everyone?
Where is everybody?
Where is everyone?
Yep.
This was fun.
It
Yeah.
was fun.
It was.
And a shout out to our audience, our backstage audience. I saw some people pop in and out. So
Does
thank
it
you guys
show
for
the
being here.
names that are in backstage?
Yeah, you can just click the participate.
Really?
I got some shout
Let me
outs
see.
for
Nobody put
photography.
anything in.
Yeah, we gonna do
Yeah.
photography next time.
Where is that? Someone put something in the
Send
chat?
every
Randy.
yeah.
Where? Why don't I see
Oh, Robin
that?
in here
So
too.
you
Where
have to go
Robin?
click on everyone.
Oh. Oh, I'm just look, guys. Sorry, this is my first time using this platform.
I didn't even see what
Oh,
she was laughing at
I
something.
was exploring while we were talking.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Okay.
Hello. Robin says hello, everyone.
Hey.
Thanks for being here. So maybe one day we'll have to get our family on here. Like, did you guys know?
That would be.
I'm still trying to
Anyone?
figure out if because like I know my mom has ADHD. Pretty sure my dad is the autistic one. Kind
Oh,
of
real?
his other kids, I'd be looking at them like,
Listen,
I see.
maybe this needs to be a whole new topic. After you found out about yourself and when you started looking into it, doing research, now, do you find yourself looking at other people and being like, yep.
all the time. Right. Everyone that I work with, I'm like, we all on the spectrum.
And it's everybody got some feature, and you be like,
Most of my friends, well, I can't even say most because it's like a handful, and Brooklyn is one of them.
I can't say most.
I'm like, yeah, we all on it.
Yep. But we attract each other. I keep telling them, we do come in herds. What's the saying from Jurassic Park? What's that line?
they do
Travel in
travel
herds.
in herds.
Yeah.
We travel in herds. And it's true. Apparently, we tend to be attracted to other autistic and ADHD people.
It's less tiring.
It's kind of,
Definitely less tiring.
each one of us be like, okay, well, you go over there, I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah. Like I know with me and Brooklyn, we can FaceTime each other, not even talk. We'll be doing our own thing.
That
Or
is
go like a
hilarious.
month or so without talking and then just randomly be like, hey.
I can understand the go without a month, but why you have the phone on? Ashley
Sometimes it helps me get stuff done. Like
same thing. She's just got the phone on and just like come in the house.
Robin will be
the
on.
phone like
to who?
To who? No, it's like body doubling. You need the person there to help you do what you need to do.
Exactly.
Because then they'll look at you and be like, weren't you supposed to be doing this? And you're like,
I feel like that's another girl thing. I feel like that's just another thing that girls do.
Like on the phone. All right, people. Well, it has been fun.
Yes. Until next time.
Until next time, we'll check our calendars and we'll have to do that. We'll have to come up with a frequency, like once a month, so every other week, something. At least once a month, we need to do this.
This is great.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
No, well, thank you.
And it was interesting.
Sorry, stress you out.
I get stressed I don't like being in front of a camera. That's why I bought a camera, so I could be behind the camera.
So you can be behind the camera.
Show me.
Thanks, Ash.